Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I didn't really expect it to turn into a series actually, but I guess I might make a couple more of these videos if, I just find any helpful TN related topics to talk to you guys about. So today I'm going to be talking about TN and how it has affected my relationships and how it might affect your relationships as well. I think this is an extremely important topic to actually talk about because it's really crucial for people with TN to know how to not only deal with the sickness but their relationships with other people, because that's definitely going to change and be affected. And also, if you are someone who's watching this video and you're kind of new to TN and you've only recently just started learning more about this disease and trying to communicate with someone who has TN, I know that it can be challenging and difficult at times, but it's really important to try and get a better sense of understanding of what the person suffering is going through. So for me personally, I'm really lucky because I have an extremely supportive and wonderful family. My parents are just the most incredible parents in the world. They have gone out of their way to help me, get the appropriate treatment I need, find medication for me. So for me, my brother is an incredible person. I can talk to him about my sickness or just anything I'm feeling anytime I want to, even though we actually don't live in the same country. I also don't live in the same country as my parents. Either way, just having a really good family support is very important. I feel when you're battling a sickness like this, you always feel really alone and you just feel like nobody understands you. And even though your family might not completely understand or be able to relate to how it feels specifically, but just knowing that there are people who care and love and support you, just really makes it feel a lot better. The second equally important support system, I think, is your friends and probably your partner or your wife or husband or girlfriend or boyfriend. I was living with my girlfriend. I am living with my girlfriend still, but I think it's also really crucial to have people around you to not only be supportive but to understand what's really going on with you. My girlfriend, definitely, I think she was the one person who knew what happened with me every single step of the way. We were first together. I wasn't sick and diagnosed yet, so the first year of our relationship was completely normal like every other couple. And then in the second year of our relationship, I got diagnosed with this, and she's kind of had to watch me go through all these ups and downs. And I think it's really difficult. I think seeing a person you care about get sick is difficult for any person, but also having to be by their side is not easy. And I'm so extremely grateful that she has always been by my side. And sometimes there's nothing much that she can do, and it's absolutely okay. I think that to people who are trying to support someone with TN, just know that it's okay to just be there by their side and hold their hand when they're in pain. My girlfriend would always offer her hand to me every time I was like, oh my god, I'm hurting so much, and she should just give her hand to me. So I would grip it and hold it really hard until the pain or the attack was over, and I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry for gripping you so hard. But that's one of the ways I coped, and that's one of the ways that she helped me. It's just important that you're there for each other. I think like for my relationship with my family, my parents, I think pretty much everything was the same. Everything was fine. I communicated every detail of my discomfort to them clearly. They would go with me to hospital visits. So I've always known that my family has been really wonderful and really close. As for my relationship with my partner, I feel that definitely there's been both positive and negative sides. I will start off by talking about the negative parts first, because I think that it's very normal for a couple to go through this. There were times when I myself, I actually wanted to end the relationship. And I remember there was one night out of the blue, I was hurting, I was in pain, I was just upset and unhappy about my situation in general. And I remember I was just crying in bed one night and she was next to me. And I was saying, you know, I think like I want to break up. And she was like, why? You know, like, she didn't look too surprised because I think she also knew in the back of her mind that I wasn't actually serious. Like nothing actually went wrong between us. But I think she just knew I was kind of upset. And I said like, you know, you deserve to be someone healthy. Like, I know, sounds like a TV drama, but that's what I felt like at that moment. Like, you really do feel like that. You really do start thinking like that. And I was like, you know, I think you should just be someone normal, someone healthy. I think one of the crucial things was also because of this sickness and because my trigger points were on my face, my lips, it affected our intimacy. Obviously, I couldn't kiss her without hurting. And that was pretty devastating actually for me, even though she never said she minded and I never really made a big deal out of it, but it was really devastating to me inside. Like, I felt like it wasn't fair to her either. So obviously, she was like, you're being silly and, you know, like, we're still together. But I was so upset. I just cried and cried into her arms all night. I think, I don't know what came over me, but I was just so upset. Oh God, I don't even know why I want to cry right now. But it just really sucked, basically, you know. Like, she would give me a kiss on my cheek, and then my face would burn. And you're just like, what's the point? But I know, like, not all relationships need to be all about the physical parts, but, you know, we're human beings, you know, we express our love and care to one another sometimes, a lot of times, through physical touch, through hugs and kisses and all of that. So, yeah, that was kind of devastating. So that was one of the negative bits that kind of happened in our relationship. And then another thing that affected us was that we'd still get into arguments like any normal couple would. And I realized that because sometimes my pain is also stress related, when we fight, it's almost like automatically my face starts hurting. And obviously, when we're bickering and my face starts hurting, I'll be like, okay, God, I can't talk like that. She might be like, okay, like, great, like, I'm always the one causing the hurt to you. You're the sick person, so I'm not supposed to fight with you. And it's just also unfair, right? I think, like, if you're a normal couple, sometimes fighting is good in a way because you kind of learn more about each other, and it's kind of a process that you have to get through. But then when we start to fight and I start to hurt, she'll kind of be like, okay, like, she'll feel that, you know, maybe like I'm always kind of the victim because I can't even fight because I hurt. And then from my point of view, I'm just like, hey, I'm sick, like, don't fight with me, you know. And that kind of creates this really it's almost like we can't behave like a normal couple, you know. So that's also one of the aspects that wasn't so good for us. As for the positive parts, you know, I just feel, you know, despite all the ups and downs that we've been through, I still feel like I'm really grateful that she stood by me this long. You know, she would go with me to my doctor's appointments when she could. She would, you know, when we were eating out and I wasn't feeling well, she would help me cut my food up into little pieces and, you know, all those kinds of little actions. I would absolutely do the same for her, no doubt about it. But I imagine it must be pretty hard to date someone who's not well all the time. And I don't know why I'm crying. I know there are plenty of other worse illnesses and disabilities out there, and so many couples have been, extremely positive and supportive of each other and have a really strong and positive relationship about it. But excuse me while I cry about this, because it's still hard sometimes, right? If you are someone like me, suffering from TN, I think it's important to remind yourself that you are not a burden to the other person. Do your best as a person to get better. Do your best to be a good partner in the way that you can. And it's okay when you're hurting, because it's really not your fault. And also do your best to be there for your partner who's been so good to you. And for people who have a partner who is going through trigeminal neuralgia, I would say that it's extremely difficult for a person with TN to tell you about their pain. It's very important to be sensitive to your partner, even though they might look normal, even though they might have developed a high tolerance for pain, but inside they might be hurting physically and mentally. If you at any point feel like your partner's not in a very good mood, try and talk to them about it gently. If they want to talk about it, they will. If not, just, be there for them, give them a hug. Just always let them know that you'll be there for them, no matter how bad their pain gets. It's very, very difficult and tiring for us to always talk about our pain. It's the same old crap. We can only keep doing our treatments and hope for the best. But pain, I think, is the most difficult thing to live with, because it's so invisible. It's not like I have a physical scar or I have a broken leg, which you can see, or it's not like I'm limping and you can physically see that I'm not feeling well. Try to understand that they're going through invisible pain every day. And it's also what makes their sickness all the more challenging. We would be having an attack in the middle of lunch. We would be sitting right across you with everybody else. We could be talking and eating, and my face could be hurting, and you wouldn't know anything about it if I hid it well enough, So try to understand that we are dealing with more than you think. It actually takes a lot more effort to be able to finish that lunch or to carry on that conversation. It takes effort for us to do that. So I think, just try to keep that in mind. And, if anything, if we look tired or anything, just don't be like, oh, you're not interested in this, or oh, you don't feel like talking to me. It's not that. We often have reasons for being the way we are. So just try to be sensitive and ask sensible and gentle questions, and don't be too quick to blame or judge, because pain is invisible and you will never really understand how it feels like unless you have it yourself. As for the relationships with friends, I think that throughout this journey, I am also incredibly grateful to the friends that I have. I know it sounds really stupid to say this, but how people say you can really tell who cares about you in times of need, and I feel like I really, really realized I have extremely wonderful friends who just care about me a lot. And I need to stop crying. See, it was so much easier doing the first video, because that was mostly information and talking about my experience and how what TN is about and how much pain I went through. But this, when I'm touching onto relationships with people, I'm useless. I'm just crumbling. I had a very difficult recovery period in the hospital. I'm not gonna lie. For the first couple of days, it was really awful. I couldn't sleep. I was hurting from the surgery, and I just felt extremely alone. I didn't have those friends who came to visit me and talk to me every day, I think I wouldn't have survived as well as I did. Okay, thank you so much guys for watching this video. I know it's been long and rambly again, and I'm sorry about all the random crying that I did. I did not mean to do that. Anyway, hopefully this was a little bit helpful in some way, and as usual, if you have comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below and I will try my best to answer your queries. So thank you so much and bye now.